Okay, sorry about that. I just wanted to double check to make sure that everyone is able to see my screen. So thank you for joining in. My name is Melissa McEntee. I am going to show you today how you can provide meaningful feedback to students through the writing process and help them through the writing process by using Google Docs. One of the advantages right now that I can say, one of the first things I think is an advantage is that students have the ability to track their writing. You as a teacher have the ability to track students' writing, to see growth, to understand where there may be issues, some difficulty, or some real, raw talent that you can develop further in your students. So this is a great tool to use because all of the text is shared online. It's emailed back and forth seamlessly just by using the share button, which I'll show you later, between student and teacher or student to student. And it gives a running history. It's time stamped of when the students worked on it and what contributions they made at that time to that piece. So for those reasons, it's very beneficial, and also it's really important that students start to get to understand how to write and type at the same time. We're so used to having students write on paper and then often transfer it to a text typed form. However, it's really important that students get the develop the ability to think and write their thoughts fluently with a keyboard in front of them. So this is a great tool, and I'd love to show you some of the basics of this. So right now what we're looking at is a student view of an essay that the student created and sent to the teacher and received back with comments and feedback. So let's take a look at what the teacher did here. We see that the student has written this piece, and we can see here through 3 different areas that we have some yellow highlighted text. The yellow highlighted text corresponds to the comment on the side, okay? So each one of these is a specific comment. So if you notice, when I clicked onto either the text that the student wrote or onto the comment itself, it highlights it in a deeper yellow than you originally saw, so you can separate it out. So here the teacher asked to try a more powerful lead, and then this student wrote back, can you give an example? So here the teacher knows that that suggestion was not enough. The student needs an example, and the teacher can then provide an example back, or maybe perhaps share it with another student and have that student provide an example. So there are just many different ways that we can use this in a way to both respond to student questions and give them feedback on their writing as well. So now I'll click on this one, and you'll see that I clicked on the comment, and this is now highlighted. So the teacher wrote back that effect is used in several places. This is really important because the teacher is asking the student to use the research tool for correct use of the word, and to also try to include synonyms when possible. So I'm going to get into the research piece later. It's really it's an amazing tool. I can't say enough good things about it, honestly. But that is what we're going to cover later in using the research tool. But that is the feedback that the student got for that piece. And then here, again, the teacher just wrote they, who is they, and to try to be more direct. So there's some feedback here. And again, why this is great is, we're not entirely crossing out and marking up student work where they have to rewrite it. Basically highlighting, giving examples, giving feedback, giving students the opportunity to rework their drafts before, finally handing it in. So it's a very fluid process, a very open process, and there's a lot of communication and collaboration into writing with Google Docs. So let's leave the student view and go into the teacher view so I can show you what it would look like for the teacher to take a look at it. First, what I have to do as a student is I'm going to turn this in because it was created with Google Classroom, and I just want to I'll go over that in a Google Classroom series in a couple of days. So I'm going to close this and go back to this one. Okay, this is my teacher. I'm hoping everyone can still see. Yep. Okay, sorry for that. Okay, so now I'm looking at this from the teacher's side. Okay, I'm looking at teachers and the teacher, and I can see now that the student provided examples. A student had asked a question, and now I can respond to that. So I can just click there, and can you give an example? And I'm going to say, choose a partner to share with, and so basically what I'm asking the student to do here, rather than just give them an example myself, I would like them to choose a partner to share and ask the student in the class to provide an example. So in that case, the student would go up here, share it with that student, get the feedback, and I'd also be able to see that here too in the comments section. So now I can not only grade one student, or I shouldn't say grade, I'm sorry, assess one student with the final product, but I can also assess a teacher who is assisting another student in their understanding of it. So there's lots of different ways that we can gain an understanding of how well our students have grasped particular concepts. Okay, so I want to show you how I would create a comment as the teacher. So I am going to come right down here. Actually, to right here, a good amount of drawbacks. Okay, now I highlighted that because I want to give feedback to the student on that. So I'm going to go up to comments and choose comment. Before I do that, I wanted you to notice how you can see a historical dialogue between the student and the teacher. So it gives you timestamps of when the students have submitted a reply or the teacher added a comment. So I'm going to click on comment, and I'm going to please be more descriptive. A good amount of drawbacks. Okay, so that's good enough feedback. Now I can also go in and change this. So if I feel like I made a mistake or I want to add something else, I can either click on these three squares right here and click edit and allow me to openly edit, or I can simply delete. Okay, let me show you that again. So I am going to come up here, let's say highlight machines and come up to the comments section, add comment again, and I'm just going to type in a quick little comment. Let's make believe that made sense to the students for time's sake. Okay, so now you see that you have lots of different comments here. This is an open dialogue between student and teacher, and you're able to view the comments. Okay, so now what I'd like to do is show you the different options you have for editing. So right now as the teacher, I am editing, I'm in editing mode, so I can edit the document directly, and I can, delete, add, copy, paste, whatever I wanted to do. Suggesting, is what you may want to do with students when they interact with peers, so that their suggestions are not made to be final. They're just merely suggestions, and then the student has the student who has written the paper has the option of taking the suggestions of their peers or modifying it in a way that they see fit. So I think that can be really helpful too as well. Viewing is strictly to view only. Okay, the student cannot interact with it. You just are able to just view, to either read it or print it. Okay. If at any point you see that this menu here is missing, it's because this arrow here is checked. So we're going to click on it to drop it down and click on it again to make it disappear. I like to see this menu, so I am going to keep it up here for the duration of this video. Okay. Now I want to show you just some simple icons over here. This toolbar is very, very, very similar to the basics you have always seen in Microsoft Word. It has the ability to print, undo, redo. You can zoom in on the size of the text if you want to see it maybe a little bit bigger. I know my eyesight is going, so the bigger the better lately. You go to normal text, text types, font and size, bold, italicize, or underline. Text color can change, insert links. You can also go to insert comment here. So there's always, more than one way to arrive at any particular task that you need to complete within Google Docs or within the Google Apps Suite. But I just wanted to point them out to you so you knew. These are your alignments, line spacing, numbering and bulleting, and indentations. So that's your basic toolbar there. File up at the top. This is there's something here that's pretty important that I want to show you. These are the basics. You can make a copy, move to a folder, move to the trash. This is what I want to show you. See revision history. Now, again, this screen that you're seeing right now, this is the teacher screen, so I can see every single time a student has, or myself, has interacted with the document. So you could see that the student started the document on August 6th at 8:35. So let's click on that to see what that version looks like. Oh, no surprise. It's blank. Okay, the student had just opened it up at that point. And so now we want to look at what the next entry is. Okay, so this shows me that 2 full minutes later, the student has an entire essay completed. Okay, so that to me is going to be a big red flag that students did not write directly in Google Docs, but that this was copied and pasted from somewhere else. So this is a big flag to me that it is plagiarism. And I'll talk to you a little bit more about that later and the reason why this has a citation next to it. Okay, so and then you can see all the other revisions throughout the course of time of this document. You can always go back and restore the revision. So if someone makes a mistake or there's some type of issue, you can always go back and restore the version, the original version for students. You always want to have the check mark down here, show changes, checked off. And you can also choose to show more detailed revisions. This is going to be more of an in-depth play-by-play, minute-by-minute of detailed revisions that you may choose to see or not. It's up to you. Okay, so that's important. Big red flag when you see a lot of copying and pasting, one big chunk blank to a full essay. That was definitely copied from somewhere. Okay, so now before we go through anything else, since we were just talking about plagiarism, I'd like to show you the tools right now, the tools that we have available within this document, within Google Docs, because it's really such a great integrated source for students to have all their information at one point. So we're going to go to Tools, and we're going to go to Research. Okay, now what this does is this gives students an embedded view of what they're searching for. They have the option to choose Google, So clicking on this and typing in the word machines is the same thing as opening up a new tab, going to Google, typing in machines, and perhaps getting something that isn't really what we're looking for. Okay, I don't think we're looking for a portable steam machine that's in the news, but maybe we are. We could also search for images here, but that requires saving to different areas, copying, pasting. Take a look at this. All right, so we are back within the document. We have machines listed right here, and I can simply go through and preview one of these to see if this is something that we would like to look at. So let's preview this site. So I hover over it and choose preview. Okay, and this is an open access engineering journal. That might be interesting to me. So if I click on it, it will open up in a new tab, and then I can do my research there. However, I'm not interested in doing that right now. So I'm going to just close this up by clicking on this little arrow. And I'm thinking that I really would rather have an image in here. I want to put some type of image of a machine. So I'm going to click on images and see what comes up. Okay, I happen to like this one. So I'll click on that and it can open up, or here's what you really want to do. Hover over it. I'm sorry, that's the second time that happened. Let's try okay, engineering equipment. Okay, so we could take any one of these and add them into our document straight from here. So let's say we do that and we drag that in. Okay, see what happens. I take one of these pictures. Let's see, I'll go down here a little bit more. Take this, drag it in, and drop it. Okay, notice we have citations right next to one another, and I'm going to show you what that means in a minute. Next thing I want to do is I think I want to search for maybe a scholarly article on engineering. I'll go to Scholar, and I can choose any one of these. And if I had actually, read it and used some of this in my research, I could cite as a footnote. And here we have my number 4 there. We just added that in. So now let's take a look at what we have. We have earlier before when I told you that I knew that this student was plagiarizing, I went through and found that this is where it came from. I went and added a citation to it, and this shows the exact website that the student found that information from. Number 2 is this picture. As soon as I dragged it from over here and dropped it right in, it gave me perfect MLA style. All of these are in MLA style, and I'll show you how I know that in a moment. And then this gives you the link directly out to where that picture is. Okay, there it is. So the teacher is able to now see not only what students are writing, how well they've understood the concept, but they're also able to see where the student is researching, how they're getting their information, and finding the exact route that the student took to get the understanding that they have, and to prepare for this writing piece. Okay, so then we have our third picture here, which is right here. And then number 4, remember I chose that scholarly article, and then it put the perfect MLA citation right at the bottom, number 4. So it's a great way for students to find information to enhance their writing, but it's also a great way to really have students focus on the content and the quality of the piece, rather than remembering, author comes first, when do I put a period, what do I have to italicize. I really think it's more important that students know where they got their information, and that they can cite it easily, and that they're worrying about the content, making sure that's strong, rather than memorizing MLA or APA format. That's my opinion, but I think we can get a lot more done by looking at students and giving them the opportunity to cite quickly and easily, and just make sure that they really know their writing skills and they know their researching skills, and that they have to give credit where credit's due. Okay, so moving on, another thing we have the opportunity to do is here. The student wrote in here, machines have taken a huge role in our day-to-day lives. Well, you know what? Maybe I would like the students, and I would want students to add in quotes as well. So I'm going to go to this drop down. It's going to show me quotes, and this is a quote on engineering. Okay, let me look for machines. Okay, so we can add this one in. So let's say I happen to like this quote. I want to insert it. So my cursor is right here next to the T in they. I'm going to hover over that, click insert. Now we have a perfectly entered quote with the proper documentation. And you see what even happened. Now that this is up higher in the essay itself, this used to be 2 before. Now this is 3. So this became 2. Now that's 3. And it automatically updates everything below, and gives you the proper place to put it. So this is just absolutely an extraordinary tool, in my opinion. And I hope that everyone gets used to using it. The other thing I wanted to point out is the dictionary. Now, before remember when I told the student to do research on the use of effect and affect, and I wanted them to use the research tool to make sure that they used it correctly? Well, this is what I was talking about. I'm telling the student to go back to their document, use the research tool, use the dictionary that's built in, and look at the word effect, look at the word affect, and make sure that he or she is using it correctly, and then to also try to find some synonyms as well, so they're not using the same word over and over again. So that's a really great teachable moment, and that is just kind of the tip of the iceberg of what you can do or have students do with these types of tools at their fingertips. So I'm going to close that up. Oh wait, I'm sorry, I forgot. I needed to show you the different formats. So when we are back here, we can see the citation format. You have the option of MLA, APA, or Chicago. Okay, the default is MLA, so I'd keep it on that. Again, let me close this, show you how to find this again. You're going to go up to Tools, choose Research. The research bar opens up, and then again you have the opportunity to add in whatever you're going to search for there. This is going to search Google itself, okay? It's a Google search just like this. Images, you can search for images, scholarly articles, quotes, the dictionary, and you can also enter in tables as well if you wanted to. Okay, so that is that for the research tool. Let's go back through here, and I showed you this through the revision history. Again, it's very important to be able to make sure that you know how often students are working on it. The View tab is pretty self-explanatory. You can insert images and things like that. I showed you a way to use the research tool and just click and drag over. Formatting, very similar to Microsoft Word. Tools, again, this is where your research is. This is also where your spelling is, and where's ways to define and count the number of words. The document can also be translated into different languages if you choose. You can insert a table, and that is pretty much it as far as the toolbar goes. One tip that I do have, I would say keep yourself organized. This is your Move To folder, so as soon as you open it up, you can click and put it into a specific folder. If you are using Google Classroom, that will be done automatically for you. So definitely look out for that next video in the series for Google Classroom. Okay, so we have a lot of different options here. We see the ways that students are able to cite their sources. We have the ability to share this with students. We have the ability to share it with other people. I could share this with a small group of students, and I can say that I want these 2 students to peer edit this essay and provide feedback. So we're really, through Google Docs and through commenting, we are creating a lasting digital document that is going to show progress. The entire process of the writing progress. It's not on separate sheets of paper. It's not messy. Everything is time-stamped, so you can see how much time a student's spending on it if they're struggling. You're also able to connect students with one another so that they can help each other improve the writing process. And that in turn is going to obviously help them in their writing as well. Knowing how to cite properly and to get rich, relevant research is very important, and students need to know how to find good research and how to include that into their writing. So I think the research tool is just amazing for that. And finally, this is something that will be a lasting digital portfolio for students, something that can then be saved in their drive year after year after year. I mean, think about the impact of a student having in their drive folders of each grade level and their writing pieces all the way up through high school, starting in elementary school all the way up to high school. Being able to see that growth and to go back and have a collection in one place of all of the writing that you've done, I think is just a really fantastic way of helping students organize, helping students archive their work, and keeping a copy with feedback that is fluent and really constructive and helps students collaborate with one another as well as the teacher. This helps you as the teacher become, the writing coach, helps peers become writing coaches for one another, and it's definitely going to, I think, organize things in one place by having your document, the ability to share with other students, the ability to share with the teacher, the ability to comment directly onto the document, the ability to put in text and resources that you've been citing. All of those things make this a really, really powerful tool in the classroom. And I really do hope that you use it, whether your students are, beginning readers, beginning writers, all the way up to, seniors in high school and beyond. This is something that I think we can find a place for in every single classroom. And I think once we get used to using it on a daily basis, it's going to make our lives much more simple. And, at any rate, it'll definitely help us cut down on those chiropractor bills with all the teacher bags we're always lugging home with all of the work we have to grade. So just take it slow, get used to it. Even if students are just doing a small piece that you're able to look at and able to give feedback on, take it slow, give yourself a chance to get used to it, let it grow. And if you have questions or you're finding that this is, a difficult process for you, or you want tips and ways that you can make it a little bit easier, please feel free. I encourage you to reach out to me and let me give you some advice and let me work with you so that this becomes a successful tool for you and your students. Thank you so much for joining me. I will see you again on our next episode. Have a great night.